We need subscribers very bad on this channel, so if you could, would you please subscribe? After months of struggling with trying to keep the grass down, working with an older lawnmower that constantly breaks down, all the breakdowns and repairs that I had to make, it's time to let this go for a while and go over to the eastern part of the state, one of my favorite places in the world, and see if we can catch some of those big fish that are swimming in the waters of far eastern Oregon. We head out on our vacation past all sorts of different businesses and million-dollar homes and junkyards. We bear eastward. Past parking lots, churches, and schools, we head eastward. First down some very small little roads, and then in a little bit we'll be in some of the agriculture areas of the Willamette Valley. The Willamette Valley is a very important and fertile valley where many crops are grown now. There's even a lot of timber on the hillsides and around different areas. As we move past small and some large corporate farms, we head eastward to go over Santiam Pass. The sky is rather clear here as we go past some very old churches of the Willamette Valley toward the Mount Angel area, one of the first Catholic settlements in Oregon. The air is reasonably clear and the sky is pretty blue, but I understand that will be changing as soon as we drop down on the east slope of the Cascade Mountains, where they're having multiple forest fires. But we can deal with that. Starting up the Cascade Mountains, where timber is the king up here, and we see lots of clear-cut areas and a lot of new planted trees growing on the pass. As we climb higher and higher up Santiam Pass along the Santiam River, over Santiam Pass and through central Oregon and part of eastern Oregon, we travel on, and just before sunset we reach our daughter's property. We find that since the last time we've been here, we've had a visitor, and a visitor that just loves to dig. It's been a badger, and we have ground squirrels there, and he loves to dig them up and eat them. He's not a very nice badger to do that.
There's a little bit of smoke in the air, and we're getting ready to go to McDermott and get some propane and look around a little bit. On the dust on our bumper, we see all sorts of little tramp tracks where someone's been up here, and it looks like they crawled in the back from the marks in the dust. That badger's got his work cut out for him if he's going to catch these rodents around here. It looks like the wind switched, so maybe it'll clear this air out and we'll have a clear day, hopefully.
We travel down the little 2-track road for about 7.5 miles till we come to a main road. It's sure quiet out here. We don't have a neighbor within about 8 miles or so, and so it's real quiet. There are a few wild horses and occasional antelope out here, and occasionally a mule deer will come trotting through here. But other than that, it's quiet as can be. With, of course, the exception of a few desert birds that sing here, and the mournful howl of an old coyote as he barks at the moon. The Steens Mountains and the hills around, you can see hardly any detail of them due to the amount of smoke in the air.
Today we thought it was going to be a simple day, just simply going to McDermott and getting our bottles filled with propane, but we got to McDermott and found they had none, so we had to go clear to Winnemucca, and we started about 8 this morning, and we just now got back, and it's 5 o'clock now. So I got to get the propane unloaded and hooked up. Today we ended up driving 251 miles and 6/10 just to get our propane filled.
I have to unload the 2 propane tanks and hook them up, and then I have to start the refrigerator. We have no electricity here, so we depend on this for our refrigerator as well. So far, we have our food in an ice chest, but the ice is beginning to melt since it was kind of a scorcher today. So we'll hook up the refrigerator and the little freezer, and we'll be in good shape again as the sun sets over the high. We have a few little desert birds that sat around on the fence post and sang to us. Although there's no water, if we had water, there'd probably be a lot more birds, and some of them are dedicated to desert birds. Well, this morning we're going to back out, and we're going to go down to the Rome to the Owyhee River and test the water and see if there's a big old fish with our name on it there.
We're putting this bobber on, and it'll just slide up and down the line, and then to stop it we're putting a swivel right below the bobber.
That's good. Very big.
Before I ever get my pole rigged up, Marge has already got one on.
My drag's too loose. Oh, shoot. I can't get him over this rock. Oh, there. Okay, there's the first fish.
First fish, huh?
Not too bad. Okay, just a second. A little one. There. Good enough. I'll straighten out my worm and throw back out. Tom's got one on.
And it's a pike minnow. They're kind of a nuisance fish, and most people, most Americans, don't even eat them, although they are perfectly edible. Marge was wanting to catch some catfish, so she went to look for a good hole to fish
Look
for
at that catfish.
While I stayed
That's a
there
nice
and
one.
fished. When she got back,
There.
I had this fairly good sized catfish. So we did all right
Just a
on
little
the
bass.
catfish that time.
I think it's a
We
bass.
were going to weigh him, and so she laid him down while she got the scale, and darned if he didn't get back in the water, and she tried to retrieve him, but he made good his getaway. We catch
like a pretty
a
nice
lot of
one.
smallmouth bass, and they're a very good eating fish. There's no limit on them and no size limit. The river is just overstocked with them, and they're eating up all the food and everything from other species, and also eating other species since they're kind of an aggressive fish, and they're not a native species here. They started down lower and moved their way all the way up the Owyhee River to where they're just everywhere now in the Owyhee River. But that's all right with us. They're one of our favorite eating fish. It seems like most of the sportsmen like the trout better than anything, but with us, these are just maybe even better eating than the...
Here, hold him up and let me see him.
It's nice. There he is. Tom caught this one. It's a nice one. Hold him up. Wow. Nice.
Sometimes I fish with worms, but Marge always likes to fish with worms.
Okay.
And sometimes I use a little lure, which works good on these bass too. It's a really nice day, and since we've got all the bass we want, we're going to drive out and take a look at this big dry lake bed called a playa. It's called Coyote Lake. We'll drive right out on it since it's real dry. If it isn't dry, totally dry out there, I just plain will drive out there.
I guess it's a bass.
If you get stuck on that stuff when it's wet, it's really bad.
It's a bass. That's a nice bass. Okay. You got a bass. There you go. It's a nice one. There. But it's a fighter. It's a small one too. I can't believe it. Not very big. Whoops. I barely had him hooked, but he ate my worm. He got a bass. There you go.
About the end of the Ice Age, this was a super deep freshwater lake that had great big lahot and cutthroat and stuff in it. But then it has no drain, so the muddy water got in there, the mud settled out of it, and it filled it clear up. Then, during World War II, it was used for bombing practice. So we'll see several old exploded practice bombs laying around on it. The weather's becoming quite hot, and this place is big enough that we get some super duper mirages. The Steens Mountains are completely covered by smoke from forest fires from other places, California, and some from farther north. Drive down like several of these smoking bombs laying right on the playa. Then
They're right there.
is the fins.
There's the fins.
That are laying right here on the playa. The mirage looks like a pretty calm lake, but that's what would fool you. It's not water at all. It's just more of the same. Well, we get back to our property where
There's
we're
either a
going to be
coyote or a
staying
badger track
about dark.
right here
And we
by the
see
picnic
we've had
table.
little 4-pod visitors here today.